Hey guys, Bam here. So today I want to show you a simple technique that can make you a bunch of divines or save you some. So what happened is that one of my friends was playing the Trickster Flicker Strike build, which stacks Energy Shield and then uses Ephemeral Edge. And in order to get a better build, you need the Resolute technique implicit, as it saves you a bunch of traveling points in your passives. So what happened exactly is that my friend bought this sword for 10 divines, I think on day 6 of the league or something like that. So yeah, I have to keep in mind 10 divines on day 6 was a lot. He had saved up a bunch of currency just for that, and then he bought it. And then I asked him, why would you pay so much for something that is so common? And then I checked out how common it was. Well, turns out it's a 1 in 20. So I explained exactly why it's a 1 in 20. So the prices have changed a bit, but what happens is that my friend made a mistake, and then I just pointed out to him how easy it is to get those swords. And then he started to doing one every 12 minutes or so, and he made 60 divines in 3 hours. So yeah, it can get pretty crazy. And you have to keep in mind, as I said, this is early league, so it's a huge jump in currency. Alright, why is it that easy to make? Okay, so I'll explain to you. This is the implicits on the that's are possible to roll on the sword, right? There's only 7 of them, and the way we find out what are the implicit on it is we click on modifiers. Modifiers again. This is PoE by the way. And then you click on one-end swords, since it's what we're working with. And then check this out, Val or corrupted implicit. Okay, so this is the list of every single implicit that can roll on it. So as you can see right now, there are 7 of them, right? And the resolute technique is actually, this one is only a 1000 weight. So if you do not check anything out of it, it would be a 1 in 9, 1 in 1, 9.25 when you actually get a corrupt implicit. So you keep in mind, 25% chance to hit a corrupted implicit, okay? But what we can do is actually work around it. Since this is the only implicit we want, we can cut some of it. As you can see here, the gray number is the item level required to hit that. So it needs to be item level at least 40, but we can cut this and that one if we get maximum item level 83. So this is exactly what I showed my friend. So here, if we look at it, item level 40 to 83, corrupted. No, we don't want it corrupted because we want to corrupt it ourselves. So right now, as you can see, it's 40 chaos, okay? When my friend did this, they were between 10 to 15 chaos. So the profit margin were even better than they are right now, but still it's pretty good. I would do this, especially if you need one for your build. Instead of paying that price, just do it yourself instead. You will save a lot of currency. And I'll show you exactly how much we save if we do it by ourselves instead of having to rely on the trade website and buying it. Yeah, we'll see the difference, okay? So, if we do the math, okay, let's say at 40 chaos per ephemeral edge. And as I said, it's a 1 in 20 if we cut out the increase fizz and add fizz. So it needs to be item level 83. So 40 and one, since it's a 1 in 20, so 40 multiplied by 20, 800 chaos divided by 175, which is the price of divines right now. If we see, it's cost us around 4.6 divine to make it, instead of having to pay 14.5 divine. So this is a cut of 10 divines. So yeah, it will take a bit more time than if you just straight up buy it. But I think for 10 divine rebate, it's actually super worth doing this. So yeah, you should do this. And by the way, the reason why I make this video is not to only get ephemeral edge with these techniques. It's actually in order for you to understand how corrupting can be super worth something, and especially if it's worth a bunch of divine like this one. There's some other stuff right now that are just as good as this. The reason why I pointed out this one is just that my friend made a bunch of currency with it early league, and even though it will probably, like, the prices will probably drop a bit if a bunch of people are doing it, it's still valuable doing it right now. But also, If you're not sure if it's still good or not, just make sure you just calculate it as I did. As I said, 4.5 divines in average to make 14.5 divines. So yeah. Okay. Now there's another step we can do. Uh, for this case, for the ephemeral edge, it's not really worth it, but for some other stuff, it could be. Okay, so sometimes if we look at the PoE wiki for ephemeral edge, we can look at it and actually see that there's no divination card that guarantees the ephemeral edge, right? See, random influence item, random corrupted sword, weapon, whatever, but there's no exactly this. But in the game, there are some cards that give you straight up a unique. So what you can do is actually manipulate the item level. In order to do that, you need to turn in the item with a character that is exactly the item level you need, or if not, like a range between. Alright, so for example, if you needed, let's say for, we'll take again the ephemeral edge, but just know that what we're looking for is the loot technique, but just take this as information only. So let's say we needed melee hits have a chance to fortify, right? Okay, so we want to block the resolute technique, the increased fizz, the physical damage, x to x physical damage. And yeah, then we have only 4 implicit. If we turned in, as I said, there are no cards right now that can turn in for ephemeral edge, but if it was the case, we could use a character that's level 2 to turn in those cards, and then we would have a item level 2 ephemeral edge. Oh yeah, right now we cannot do this because there's no way to target ephemeral edge. But if you look at the PWiki, and let's say we are looking for Prism Guardian, alright? So Prism Guardian, if we look at it, there are some cards that actually guarantee a Prism Guardian. So what that means is if we look at the implicit on a shield, we can see that there's a bunch of them that started at level 20. Well, if you don't want those and you're actually trying to get either increase maximum life and increase energy shield, or a chance to block, let's say, or something like that, chance to block spell damage, well, you can block all of those modifier plus this one, right? So that's a bunch of them. You can block all of this, so we will be left with only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 implicit. So again, it would have a 1 in 20 chances to actually get what you're looking for. It's even better if you're looking for, let's say, chance to block spell damage and chance to block. Well, you have 2 and 5, so instead of 1 in 20, it's 1 in 10 to get one of the implicit you're actually looking for. So I know this is a lot to take in, but it's super useful if you're trying to get something out of it. Right now, I don't think it's like super meta, the Prism Guardian shield, but you can apply this knowledge to some other stuff. Just make sure that if you have some divination card that can actually be traded in, and if you use those cards on a level 2 character, so you just finish the beach, right? And then you turn in those cards, you will get a Prism Guardian level 2. So if you vol it, you have only those level 1 modifier that can, only level 1 implicit that can roll on it. Alright, I know it's a lot to take in, but I think if you understand this, you can actually either save a bunch of currency or make a bunch of currency with the information. Hopefully this was helpful, and as always, take care, guys.